Hello there, World of Tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, World of Tanks Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be breaking into my opinion of what are the three most fun medium tanks to play in World of Tanks Blitz. We're going to be doing a Tier 7, a Tier 8, and a Tier 9. Now, unfortunately, for any of those who want this to be tech trees as well, yeah, there's only going to be premiums collectors in this video. If you would like a tech tree version, let me know in the comments, and I will do that as well, as there are a lot of super fun tech tree mediums. The standard B is absolutely amazing, and definitely a tank I was considering for this video, but you'll see what we have in Tier 9. Starting off in Tier 7, we have the Mutant. This is honestly a really fun tank. I've been doing fairly well in it with an 85% win rate and 2,400 average damage. It is essentially a smasher, but just a medium variant. It features a 470 damage per shot gun, and it has actually some armor. I'm not going to say its armor is effective, because it's not. The majority of Tier 6s, 7s, and all Tier 8s are going to cut through you. But there are some weird angulars on the vehicle that hit at certain spots will occasionally bounce shells. When you pair that with the fact that this tank has actually gold rounds with 220 mils a pen, actually next update it'll be 230 mils a pen because calibrated is getting buffed, it's kind of decent in that regard. It's got AP standard, which is very rare for a T-49 style cannon. And it's actually fairly mobile. The only problem with the Mutant is that it is, well, absolutely hideous. It is easily the ugliest Tier 7 in the game, right up there next to vehicles like the Vulcan. The other problem is it doesn't feature much gun depression at 6 degrees, but there's give and take when you obviously have a high alpha DARP style tank. What I find really fun about this vehicle is just the fact that it does have such a high alpha at such a low tier. So we're going to start off by chilling in this bush right here. We can see the Rampanzer. We got the VK-168. Interesting. So if the Rampanzer and 168 are over here, then that means probably the enemy team is not going over towards base A and B. But there's only one way to find out, and that is to go towards base A and B. We're going to see how this goes for us. We got the T-28. We're going to aim it on possibly the Rampanzer here. You know, we got the Chimera in the back. Let's just aim it on him. And there you go. 494. I mean, that's crazy, the fact that we can actually just bonker a Chimera for a lot more than even his tank deals. So we're going to reload again. We got a couple seconds left. And let's see. We got the silencer. Oh, no. That shell was so sad. Oh, well. Not that big of a deal. We're going to reload, and hopefully we'll be able to get out a little bit more. Let's see. 4, 3, 2, 1, and I know that the Chimera was in the back. We got the silencer. There you go. That time the shell worked, and we were able to finish off the enemy silencer. I mean, the gun's pretty effective on this thing, as you can see. When you're actually able to get it to work, and you're able to connect your shells, this tank is fairly dangerous. We got the T-28 in front of us, and keep turning. Yep. Bonk. There you go. 352 damaging shell into that T-28. He's dead. Our Rampanzer is a little low, but not that big of a deal. We're just going to head over here, and we're going to see if we can possibly get the VK-168 clear. Oh, actually, you know what? That's even better. Oh, 498 juicer into that T-23E3. Just like that, we've dealt 1,800 damage, which is pretty good. That Chimera is still camping in the back, which doesn't really do anything to me, to be honest. We're going to push this VK-168 if we can. I don't really care if he shoots me, but ideally, I would not like to... Aw, shell went a little bit too low. What I was going to say is ideally, I don't want to be shot by him. Chimera pens us, but I'm not too worried about that. We're just going to squeeze over here. And, oh, okay, that is a bit worrying. Let's aim it on the Chimera, possibly. Oh, well, if he's just going to drive right over, let's just get a shell into the ISU. We might die. Nope, not yet. All right, well, let's just hope that our team does something. Yes, there you go. All right, I don't know if the Chimera shot. I'm going to take my bets and say he did. Let's reload, and yeah, 453 juicer into his tank, and there you go. That was a 2,700 damage game. As we can see, the Mutant is just a fun vehicle. It's actually pretty solid. I mean, a lot of people call it bad, but I don't actually think this tank is bad. As I said, I'm averaging pretty good in it. I've got over 30 battles. I mean, that was a 2,900 damage game. We got a first class, we supported our team, and that was even up against tier 8 vehicles. It's just a fun tank. I mean, any vehicle that has high alpha with decent pen, I mean, as I said, it's decent pen for a tier 7. It's honestly a very, very fun tank to mess around with. So, yeah, I really like the Mutant, and I think this is a rather underrated tank. I don't know if it will come back out for sale anytime soon, if it even does come out for sale due to branding issues. But, yeah, the Mutant is in Tier 7 for my pick. Now we move on to our Tier 8 pick, which is another vehicle with high alpha, and one that we just fought, the Chimera. This vehicle is very dangerous for a lot of reasons. First of all, it has a very nasty gun in terms of damage per shot, 440 to be exact. This is enough to easily outtrade any vehicles you are fighting, whether it is Tier 9 mediums, whether it is Tier 8 or Tier 7. When you pair that with the fact the vehicle has 10 degrees of gun depression, a solid top speed of 50, it is a very, very scary tank. Now, next update, to what I'm aware, the Chimera is losing reactive armor. So because of that, I might as well remove reactive now before it loses it, because I'm probably going to forget to change the tank's equipment. But I'm glad that it's losing reactive, because it would be 30% of the damage it received next update being removed off of the tank, which would be ridiculously stupid. But the Chimera, even without reactive, is still insanely strong. I mean, any tank that deals high alpha damage with great penetration and decent accuracy is always going to be a big threat. So we're going to see what we can do in this game. The only thing that sucks about the Chimera is the legendary camo. I mean, you got to agree, this is one of the worst legendary camos that Wargaming has made in a while. I understand, like, the design behind it, but it's just, this tank is too boxy to go for this style on this tank. That's my beliefs, but we'll see. Well, we'll see. We're chilling at 45 kilometers per hour right now. While this tank reaches 50 on paper, it really never actually gets up to 50, and that's just because the tank doesn't have the best terrain resistances. We got the Swindler, and we're not able to hit him yet, but we're going to push up here a little bit. Let's see if that Eagle 7 tries to poke it again, and there you go. Look at that, 515. That is literally half of that Eagle 7 gone. It is insane how much you can deal in this tank. So we're going to reload here again, and we're going to aim it on the Swindler. With 10 degrees of gun depression, we can easily work this ridge, and yeah, I don't think the Swindler enjoyed our company all too much, to be honest. Yeah, the Chimera really does hit like a frickin' truck, and all you need to do is get hull down. It's not that your armor is more effective hull down, it's just that you can poke people, minimize the amount of exposure they have to shooting you. I mean, for example, that Swindler doesn't really have the chance to shoot me, and in return we just absolutely obliterate him. So now all that's left is the Indian Panzer. We're going to put on our Adrenaline now so we can get out the most effective DPM. And Kerplunk, there you go, 392. It's a little annoying that the Shrek's shooting us through that gap in the rock there. I'm not going to lie, but whatever. I'm just going to push up and ignore the Shrek. We're going to get the clearing shell into the enemy Indian. Okay, well, let's just push up. I mean, all that's left is the Shrek over here. Now, what's weird is that I watched one of my teammates lose over 400 health, and I can't imagine that was the Shrek that caused that, but maybe it was. I don't know. Let's move up. Would not surprise me if that Shrek tried leaving, but I doubt he would be able to. Oh, there you go. Never mind, he did get out. Very surprised. Huh. I don't think there's anybody else over here. No, there is not. But that is fine, because if we squeeze right over here, and we activate now our accuracy, look at that. That is insane. 590 into the rear of that Skoda T45. I think you can start to understand why this tank is making my video for the most fun Tier 8. I mean, this thing is insane, and the fact that it's very mobile as well allows it to actually feel confident when making your way in the position. Now that we're a little bit downhill, and we actually don't need to rely on our power to weight to get up to speed, we're chilling at 50 kilometers per hour, which is pretty good. So we're heading over there. We have just now made it to the heavy flank, which is fine. And we're going to aim it on the rear of the Skoda. Bonk. Oh, I shot a little bit too high. That was my fault. I will admit to that one. I aimed just like an inch too high, and because of that we were not able to pen him. It's not that big of a deal, though. We're going to aim it on the Skoda here, and not only are we going to shoot him for 378, but this tank is also very good at ramming, as you'll notice. We got an additional chunk off in the ram. Now we are just going to aim in on the Skoda once again, and, well, not able to get any more out, but this was a fine game as it is. The Chimera is crazy good. It's got so much alpha, so much armor, and so much pen that the majority of Tier 8s just really can't counter it. I mean, that was just another 3K game, and a pretty fun one at that, so can't really get all too mad. Yeah, pretty solid stuff for this tank. That brings us to Tier 9, which is one of my favorite tanks in the entire game, the Cobra. This vehicle is crazy. It has 400 damage on the standard, and it deals 500 on the high explosive. That is crazy. Even the Tier 10 FE4 202 doesn't get that high with its HE, dealing about 440, and with its standard HE it can deal 480. So this tank out damages a lot of Tier 10s. When you pair that with the fact that it's a medium, which is fairly mobile, it can do a very solid job. Up against us we have a Progetto, and that's it for mediums, but we're on a map that is incredibly heavy dependent, and that is not great. So I guess we'll see what happens here. I'm going to try and make my way up the bridge. I don't care where my team goes, honestly. I really don't, because at the end of the day, they only have one medium, and if I can control the bridge and their team doesn't go up it, this could be huge. But we're going to find out. I'm going to chill right here for now. Oh, there you go. Alright, well here's what we're going to do. We're going to start off by aiming in at the Super Conqueror lower plate, and then a nice 530 juicer into his tank as well. Pretty good stuff. Alright, well, let's see. Super Conk is turning away. Interesting. So it looks like he actually didn't go here. Alright, that's pretty good. Not sure why that Super Conk was going alone to the side of the map, but yeah, 530. Just think about that. How much we just rolled that guy for. That's crazy. Oh, but of course, they have their entire team camping in their spawn. Why wouldn't you? Well, we got a 435 HE, and we do have support from the IS-7, which is pretty important. We have the Super Conk, who is, of course, going to make his way up here. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's see if I can make my way to the rear of this Conqueror. Let's just chill right here. Is he gonna focus me? There you go, 518, pretty good. Alright, now we're gonna back on up. I honestly hope the Super Conk, like, tries to send me. Alright, we just got our shell loaded now, and oh, 625! What a juicing roll there, 625, that is insane. Alright, well, Super Conk is about to die. Let's aim it on the rear of the Progetto. 521! I mean, the alpha on this tank is girthy, and it really is very, very hard to counter when you have a medium tank rolling you for 500. I mean, what the heck? We are already over 3,000 damage. We have the Yo in front, and we're going to aim in on that Yo, and bonk. Ah, okay. 129. That made little sense. We hit some stupid little spaced armor on the side of his tank. Now, even though we don't have the ability to, oh, well, I guess we just don't have the ability to pen him at all. Oh, but there you go. Turns his tank to the side, and we're finally able to get an HE into his tank. Pretty good. Alright, we got the IS-7 over to our rear, and we got the Yo right over here. This time we're not going to mess up the HE, and we get a nice 500 damage pen. Alright, pretty good. And all that's left is the IS-7 in front of us. How are you doing, good sir? Well, we're not able to HE you, but, well, we're not even able to AP him either. There you go. He over-angles his upper plate, and because of that, we're able to get the pen out. Pretty good stuff. We're just going to chill behind the IS-7, and this is now where we are able to use our high explosive and get a 501 pen into his tank. Pretty good stuff. Yeah, I don't think this guy's enjoying life all too much. I'm going to be completely real. STB tried to block us there, but it didn't really matter because we didn't have our shell out anyway. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. That is the Cobra for you. And it's a great example on why this tank is crazy nasty. I mean, that was a 5,000 damage game. Did that look like a 5,000 damage battle to you? We aced it. It's definitely a skill-based tank. Any vehicle that is high explosive as one of its basically main rounds, you're going to have to be pretty skilled to use. But as we can see here, I mean, I literally obliterated that Super Conqueror. 3 shots, 1600 damage. IS-7, 2 shots, 900 damage. I mean, I love this tank. I really do. It's so fun to mess around with. These are my picks for the top 3 most fun mediums in the game. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And obviously, if you'd like to see more like this, please consider smashing that subscribe button. Bye-bye.